I'd like to call the Claymont City Board of Education regular meeting for April 12th, 2021 at 5:30 to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Beckley?
Here.
Mrs. Granderson? Mrs. Sproul? Here. Mr. Miles?
Here.
And Mr. Trimmer?
Here.
Time was 5:30. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular meeting, and it's kind of odd to look out here and see bodies now, which is good, okay? And I'd like to welcome everyone that is tuning in online to observe our board meeting. I welcome everyone. Hopefully in the future here that we're going to try to open it up for the public to participate. We're hoping we can do that. If we can, it will probably only be about 10 people at a time, and they would have to call the central office and put their name on saying that they're going to come, and mask and distance would have to be observed. As you can see, we don't have that much room in here that we can hold everyone, but superintendent, myself, and the board, we are going to try to do something hopefully in the near future to get our community back involved. So again, I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting. Now you noticed on there's a board discussion. Everybody get that agenda? Okay. And I'm not really going to go into a whole lot on the board discussion, but I will fill you in. If you have not viewed our regular meetings, we have a spot there for board discussion. And what that entails is it's boardsmanship 101 to try to inform our community the responsibilities of their board, what we can do and what we can't do. And, we set policies and procedures. We hire a superintendent and treasurer, and the superintendent runs the district for us, okay? And the treasurer takes care of our funding. But a lot of people think that board members can make decisions. That is not true, okay? We can listen to your complaint, and then we would ask you, have you talked to the teacher? Have you talked to the principal? It's a chain of command type thing. So the board has no function individually to make any decisions. The only time we have a function to make a decision is if we're gathered here in a group, okay? So we have been through several things in our boardsmanship 101, and there's only one little thing that I would like to share, and it's chapter 10 of our 101, and this is dealing strictly with boardsmanship. Everything in this book is all about the boardsmanship and the board, okay, as individuals. And what I would like to just read the one paragraph, and it's called Communications and Accountability, okay? In the education profession, there is a tendency for words to be overworked and consequently lose their real meaning. Certainly two good examples of overworked words are communication and accountability. However, this doesn't mean that we are not important. If a school district and a school board are to be successful for any period of time, they must communicate and be accountable. The two go hand in hand. Communication is truly a part end of any accountability program. And I could go on, but I won't. But just so you understand that, I know there's been some people wonder who governs the board, okay? Who sees that they're accountable? Okay, the board itself governs this board, okay? So if there's any accountability, if one of us would do something that we shouldn't, then it's up to the board to handle that. It's not up to the superintendent, it's up to the board, because we have to censor ourselves, okay? So, I know principals, and we have some other guests back here. We've all heard, okay, we want accountability, so we have to be accountable too, okay? So, I'm just going to leave it at that. So we'll move on to the administrative reports, and the stadium update.
Yeah, Justin Leonard's here, and I think he provided you guys with a construction update, so Justin, you have a floor.
I'm staying off to the side over here just so I can kind of address the whole room. First of all, Justin Leonard, project manager at Beaver Constructors, where you are the construction manager at risk for the job. And greatly appreciate everyone allowing us to be a part of the project. I've been fortunate to work closely here with Beth Lynn and Mr. Wrench throughout the job, and we're looking forward to continuing moving forward and wrapping things up here this summer. Something that you might not know about Beaver and Beaver companies, so Beaver Excavating and Beaver Constructors, is our founder, Don Sterling, is actually from this area. He graduated from Denison, and again, it's one of many reasons why this project is so important to us. We actually do plan on, before the end of the project, making a donation towards the completion of the job as well. So, for the board, we have kind of a short monthly report. What I prepared for you guys are just kind of some key milestones, some bullet point items of what we've accomplished in the last month or so, what's on schedule for the next month coming up. There's also a master construction schedule for the balance of the project. Basically, what that shows you, if you didn't bring your eyeglasses with you because the print's awfully small, is that we do intend on wrapping everything up by the middle of August in time for the new football season. Again, working closely with everybody on this project, as there's some other components, not just the field house and grandstands that we're working on, but lots of other pieces of the pie too that we're trying to support and I hope you guys accomplish here this summer. So, just a couple real brief things I wanted to touch on with the whole group today. I'm sure everybody knows where the job's at and drives by on a regular basis, so I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know. But we made a lot of progress with the field house structure itself. So all the structural steel is complete, all the metal wall siding is complete. The roofing actually just wrapped up here the last couple of days. So we're at a point where we're called dried in. So the metal roof is on, all the insulation, vapor barrier, everything is all in and complete. And all the brick around the building is complete as well. So we worked closely again with Beth and the team. That brick is actually a donated product, and we just provided the labor to install all that brick. I think it really kind of pulls the whole building together and brings all those color schemes in nicely. Also, the grandstands and press box. So everyone, I'm sure, saw the visitor side last month. This month we've got the home side essentially done, just button up a couple details until that crew moves on to their next job. And we set the press box last week with a very sizable crane. So it was, it's always a milestone day, it's a banner day. I follow some of the other Claymont social media on Facebook and stuff. Everybody was posting about it, so super exciting for us to be a part of. There's some wall bracing inside the building to support the new main entrance canopy that you'll see start going on. All that work is complete along with the foundations. That steel should be arriving shortly. And then we also have a custom powder coated roof that goes on there as well to bring that orange color into the building as well. Inside the building, what you can't really see right now is a lot of underground work going on. So all the underground plumbing should be wrapping up here in the next couple days. We got inspection for most of it on Friday. We'll be wrapping that up here middle of this week, and then we'll have our crews inside working with the electricians to get all the underground electrical done. And I'm hoping if everything goes well this week, by Friday, we'll have half of the concrete floor poured, and then the following half will be poured late next week. So within the next week, week and a half, we should have a complete floor and be able to start working our way up out of the ground, and you'll really start seeing things take shape inside the building. As far as next month is concerned, again, along with, starting more of the interior stuff, all the masonry walls will be starting inside the building. We'll also start on our sprinkler, the overhead plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. There's a lot that goes into the walls that people don't see, and a lot that's above the ceiling as well. So we'll get started on that work. There's some interior metal liner panel that needs to be installed along with all the interior wall insulation. That should all be completed next month. The gutters and downspouts will all be completed, and all the underground piping as well, which is good because on days like today where you've got a lot of rain, I drove by the site before I came here, and it is a little messy around there. I assure you that we're on it. We've got a street sweeper on site, so we'll get things cleaned up here, looking a little bit better, be able to manage that stormwater a lot better, and it'll start quickly to kind of look more like a completed project. We're also working with Beth and the team on the signage package. So if you guys have seen the renderings, there's large letters that go across the south side of the building there on 11th Street. We're going to have that stuff fabbed up, and we'll be working on that. Hopefully we'll have a mock-up put together here on Wednesday, start kind of positioning those and figure out how we're going to make that attachment work. And again, another very cool piece of the project. Today was also a big day for us because we started the restroom and concession building. Totally independent from the primary field house, right at the parking lot there by the tennis courts. We'll get started on all those underground utilities, site demo, get the foundations in, and then I'm hoping by this time next month you'll see the masonry walls coming up out of the ground. I just ordered the trusses and everything this morning actually, so we'll be moving forward with that piece of the project. Again, globally, we're in really, really good shape. Last month the weather was super favorable for us. It allowed us to accomplish a lot. So we're pretty much wrapping up again with the main portion of the project with respect to the bleachers and grandstands and the press box. We do have some underground boring that we have to do to get all the controls from the old visitor side over to the home side. So you'll see some equipment out there. What they're doing is they're boring anywhere between 5 and 10 feet underground, coming across the football field and track. They'll come back up, and then we'll be able to make all those connections to the press box and get everything live on that side. So again, it's been great progress, great month for us, and hopefully we're able to keep moving forward. Anybody have any questions on anything right now?
I'm just going to highlight the lettering that goes on the front of the building. It's done by our students at the high school. Mr. Peters' class, those students are cutting out the letters, and they will be hung on the building. So hopefully by Wednesday they'll have those and be able to put the all threads and be able to make sure they can hang them. Then they'll go off and get painted, and then we'll install them later. But with Beaver being a local company from they used to live here in Denison, Yurtsville area, to having our students actually working on that project, and there's other students who are our students who also have worked through Buckeye that have come through and have touched that at some point. So that was something that was very intriguing in working with Beaver. But the letterings will be coming up in the next several weeks, but say, oh, Mr. Peters' class did that. So that's something for our kids to be proud of years to come.
Last thing for me tonight, safety is our number one core value, and obviously there's a lot of things going on and they're going to continue to go on. We're doing the best we can to manage everything because we know we've got the school, the water park, we're in the middle of the neighborhood. So again, we just ask for your guys' patience, and if anyone on the board has any questions or wants to come over and see the site, we do have Claymont hard hats that we made up and safety vests and everything for you guys. So I know Mr. Wrench and Beth have been through a little muddy, a little dirty right now, but once we get that concrete floor poured, we'll be able to get you guys inside and start to give you some more tours and really start to feel this thing come together. So again, all I ask is that you just contact us in advance, And we'll be happy to walk you guys through and answer any questions you have, so
Okay.
appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to Buckeye Further Report.
I gave you guys a little copy, just an update for April. Leadership is continuing to work to find ways to make the awards ceremony up there with the guidelines. The cafeteria only holds 326, so they're planning to do 4 different nights to give those awards out for all those students. Buckeye will not be hosting a prom this year. They made that announcement. We have completed the search for the treasurer that we have for our current vacant position. Our spring open house is scheduled for the 15th, and that is going to be on-site, but you have to make reservations just due to COVID restrictions. And there will be a virtual career fair on Thursday, April 22nd in the afternoon.
Any questions for Michelle?
Just want to highlight, I don't know if you guys saw the Facebook post of Jake's seamless sighting. He's a Buckeye Career Center student, but he's also a Claymont student. So Mrs. Lynn had him submit a bid, and he came in and did some remarkable work for our gutters. No longer will you be slipping on the sidewalk because it's icy because the water dripped on the sidewalk. So it's nice to see our kids doing that type of stuff.
Okay. Before I move into the principals and administrators report, I apologize, I did not introduce Lois Branison. She's our newest board member. She took Colin Fawcett's place, so I apologize that I did not introduce her first. And I assume probably most of you already know who she is. Okay, so at this time we'll move into the principal's report. Beth, do you want to go first?
Oh, sure. It's kind of nice to be back instead of having to write something, but the intermediate school, we finished our ELA testing today. We had started it on the 22nd of March, and we got all of our remote kids in. We had 3 that we had to make up. They all came today, so we got our ELA testing, test 1 and test 2 done today. Kind of have a week off to catch our breath and get the remote kids kind of acclimated to the building. And so next week, we're going to have our 5th grade math test, or science test, I'm sorry. 5th grade science, and then the week after that will be the 4th grade math and the 5th grade math. We have all but 10 of our kids back face-to-face. There's 4 that are the remote kids, or the online kids who wouldn't be coming back anyway. And there's only 6 that are opted to get the doctor's notes and stay remote. So all but 10 of our kids are back face-to-face. I know you wanted to know a little bit about what the intermediate school is doing as far as leader and lead. So one of the things we started at the beginning of the year, each class has its own mission statement. And then we put those all together and had the kids vote on a couple different ones for our building mission statement. Kids came up with all the goals for the building, and some of the rules they came up with were a lot harder than what we were going to come up with, but we kind of tapered them a little bit to kind of fit what we wanted. It was kind of hard because we wanted to include all of the kids, and the remote kids, of course, would have no way of knowing, especially the 4th grade kids, because they had never been there before. So the kids that were there came up with classroom or the hallway rules, and then each class came up with their own. Ms. Mundell, our guidance counselor, we thought in order for them to be able to fully embrace what's going on with Leader and Me, they had to be able to understand the 7 habits first. So each month, our guidance counselor does a lesson with each classroom individually on a habit, different habit, and they talk about the habits, and then when they have their discussion, the kids actually lead the discussion. She has it so the kids do that. And then each day, to go along with the habit for the month, each day, each week, I come up with something for the announcements, and it's something that's a discussion point, like what do you want to be remembered for and why. and it involves some of the leader and me type things. So there's different things like that. The teachers discuss them with the kids. You'll hear the kids talking about it. They use them for journal entries and different things like that. Miss Mundell connected with, as you probably saw in the paper, connected with a guidance counselor from Texas. They talked to our kids about the difference, about what Texas went through with their flooding. And part of the empathy on that was our kids made cards to send to them, and they're going to try to make sure that their kids send cards back to ours. So kind of a pen pal type thing. Watch Facebook, watch our entry on Wednesday, because we're synergizing a math lesson on building cup towers. And on the PD day, each grade level, when we had the work time in the afternoon, each grade level wrote down different ideas, submitted into the Lighthouse team, and we're going to be putting together some things for next year to further enhance what we want to do. It was kind of hard this year with all the remote kids we had, because we had quite a few remote kids at both levels. So it was kind of hard to try to make sure that we encompass those kids with everything. So Miss Mundell also did she did some Zoom lessons with them, and she also prepared some Google lessons with them to keep them abreast and keep them up with things too. So now it's just, with our fourth graders that came back, it's kind of starting all over because they've never been in the building. So today was like herding cats, trying to get them where we needed them to go. We've taken them on a tour when they came in for testing, but it's kind of different when they're actually there and you got a whole class full of them. But and the fifth graders are back, and they're trying to get used to a whole different thing, because last year they were on the middle floor, now they're on the top floor. So just trying to get used to all those different things was something today. So we wanted to kind of take it a little slow to try to make sure the kids all understood what they're doing before we start saying, okay, now you get to leave the school. So that's kind of where we are with that.
Any questions?
No, I just said, nothing.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben.
Good stuff.
Mrs. Henry, you're close, so.
All right. We have a few things. I'll start with leader and me, since that's where Beth left off. We brought, so you guys could kind of see a few. Mrs. Tulak wanted to print out the newsletters that are going to start going home starting this week, and then I'll explain that picture in a minute. So we are working on being a Lighthouse school with Susanna, our coach. We're working through the Lighthouse rubric with her right now. We're close to being that in the near future, and one of the things that she had us working on for third 9 weeks was student-taught lessons, letting the kids be the leaders of Leader and Me. And they've done several things. One of the things they did was each group during RTI made Google Slides about one of the habits, and then they taught that habit to their class. And each group did that. Each class did that for RTI time. And that went pretty well. And another thing we've done to involve the students, of course, we have our teacher Lighthouse team, but we also have our student Lighthouse team, and they are really, really good group of little leaders. They've got really good personalities and awesome ideas. When we have them together, they're bouncing ideas off of each other the entire time. And one of the things they wanted to do was, when we came back from remote learning, they were concerned about what the morale would be like with the rest of the students, so they wanted to do something to bring all the kids together. So they came up with the idea of all of the kids putting a goal on a puzzle piece. So each kid in the building did a puzzle piece with a goal or something positive that they were looking forward to for the year 2021, colored them, and then that picture is all of our puzzle pieces together, which hangs outside our hallway. And the slogan on there, our student Lighthouse team came up with about 5 ideas that they thought would be good to go with the puzzle pieces, and then they made a Google form, they sent it out to the students, tallied up the votes, and that's what our student body voted on to be the slogan above our poster in the hallway. So we were really proud of. They just kind of did that on their own. They did a really nice job, so we were proud of them with that. Also, the journals we get with the Leader in Me, they use those once a week in our RTI, our ELA classes once a week. They really like them. They're colored. They have a new idea in them every week that they get to work on and talk about in their class, and it's kind of a break from the normal, and they like working on those once a week. They've been doing a good job. Our ELA department has taken that on, and they've done really well. They've put the lessons out there for the kids who are remote, so they've done the Leader in Me stuff the whole time the other kids have. Catch My Breath, we are with the Anti-Drug Coalition, Jody Salvo. They're going to be in our building with 4 presentations for all the students on preventing youth vaping and the effects of youth vaping. So we're looking forward to having them in the presentation, so that'll start next week. Power of the Pen, our 7th grade took first in the region, and we're still raking through the details, but we think that this might be the first time Claymont's ever been regional champions for Power of the Pen. And we have 3 kids that will be representing us at the state tournament: Owen Cox, Cora Dotts, and Jillian Patterson. That's May 15th, and they usually go to Worcester College for that, and this year it's actually virtually at Otterbein. We had some of our student council members represent us at the food drive that took place at the high school, which was put on through Immaculate Conception Church. We had Ashton Walker, Eris Sigler, Whitney Watkins, myself, and Mrs. Pellegrino. Lois came and helped. We passed out over 300 boxes of food to community members. They came through, picked it up. And what was left, Lois, myself, Sergeant McCrae loaded up our vehicles and delivered it to some of the areas in town that we know where we have needy families or people that could use, elderly that could use some boxes of food. So we delivered all that. So that was really awesome. The kids worked hard with that, and I think that's everything we have. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tracy, I see you hiding back
I'm
there.
not hiding. I just wanted to let you know that we are doing evacuations for the buses. We were going to do it this week, but it's been a little crazy with the trips, early trips. It's been a struggle, but I managed to just about got them covered for this week. We are trying to leave a little earlier on the middle school and varsity track. Managed to get a couple people that can leave early. I told the regular drivers if they're still interested in a trip that I would be back to them if I didn't get anyone else. And the ones that were at the meeting seemed okay with that because they know that the teams need to leave as early as we can get them to leave. So we're going to try and start the bus evacuations next week. I had planned for this week, but we'll see how it goes with the weather and with the amount of drivers that may come off their route, because I want the drivers to do their own bus evacuation, since the kids know that. I'm also trying to finish up the routes for next year. I've been kind of got the school times and stuff figured out. I'm just trying to add what's already on the bus route to that each driver's thing. So hopefully by May I'll have them ready to go. I hope.
You
Not
hope?
no promise,
Okay,
but we'll see. That's all I have.
okay. Food service.
I sent in a report earlier that kind of highlights some of the things we did last month. I think the biggest thing for us, we did our last food delivery the Friday before Good Friday. Pretty much the whole school year, we were doing roughly 300 meals, sending those out each Friday. That consisted for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're just excited to have the kids back in the cafeteria for all 5 days. So.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. The high school would like to start by first congratulating our March students of the month in 9th grade, Chelsea Story and Allison Catry, and 10th grade, Brooke Davis and Blake Jandrin, 11th grade, Mason Mihawk and Austin Weaver, and in 12th grade, Ray Anderson and Jamal Taylor. Also, congratulations to our academic challenge team who received an official commendation from Representative Brett Hillier and Speaker of the House Robert Cupp for their second straight IBC championship. That was a really nice document that unfortunately got rained on its way to us, but we were able to flatten it out, and Mr. Schilling, the coach, is getting that frame. So he was just thrilled about it. So he had never had something like that happen before. But they're 2 years straight, so we're pretty excited about that. The high school held a Spirit Week the week before spring break in honor of our students Chance, Anna, and Ashton for World Down Syndrome Day. Individuals with Down syndrome have 3 copies of the 21st chromosome, so we set a goal of raising $321 for Akron Children's Hospital. And the kids made, our Sigma Tri group made cute containers to put in every classroom, and we just asked people to throw their loose change in. And we were able to send them a check for $933 from the high school and in the name of Chance, Anna, and Ashton. Our prom is Saturday, April 24th. It's at the high school this year. The PAC is still closed, so we're going back old school and having it in the gym. And we'll have walk-ins from 6 to 7, the prom from 7 to 10, and then a post-prom, which we haven't done in a while, from 10 to 12. And it's going to be games and activities, and kids can win prizes, and hopefully the kids are excited about it. We've sold quite a few tickets already, so especially since Buckeye can't have a prom this year, we're happy that we can have one and those kids can come to ours. As far as Leader in Me goes, we have a pretty active student lighthouse team. They meet once a week with Mr. Peters. Our 2 big goals in our building are improving culture and improving student leadership in the building. So that's pretty much what they talk about and give us ideas for. Monday mornings, we have a video that all teachers show first thing in the morning, and then spend 10 or 15 minutes having a conversation with students about the video, each of them one of the 7 habits. And then next year we have built into our schedule a 30-minute period twice a week where we'll focus on leadership and Leader in Me. That's it for us.
Thank you.
The special ed update is Claremont High, we've heard his name already. Claremont High School has proudly nominated Ray Anderson for the upcoming Overcoming Obstacles Award. This award is presented to a student with a disability from each school or area who has overcome great obstacles to be successful. The award is sponsored by the East Central Ohio VSC. Ray will receive this award on Thursday, April 20th at Dover High School Auditorium. Each student receiving the award will be showcased through a video presentation. I believe they're coming tomorrow to talk to, well, I don't know.
He picked people.
Oh, so I guess I am doing it.
Yeah, he chose who he wants to have on the video.
Okay, well. All right,
There you go. You can't say no to that.
Can't say no to that. So they'll showcase that video of all of the area students at the award assembly. It's a little bit different this year due to COVID. Typically, it's held at the PAC or Buckeye. I can't remember which. It's been both places. And usually it's a dinner and a lot more people can come for each student. This year it's down to just a few, and they're doing a video presentation. So, April is Autism Awareness Month. The Autism Society of America is proud to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month in April 2021 with its Celebrate Differences campaign. Please participate by celebrating all of our differences and wearing blue. Special Education Department's continuing to work through our disproportionality finding from ODD and ODE, and we're making the improvements in those areas. The preschool update. We're welcoming back Kristen Matzel to our building. She's taken the position in Miss Ashley's room for Mrs. Baumberger, who has officially retired. We're happy to have Kristen back. The preschool had an egg hunt on April the 1st. The students were very excited, and it was the perfect way to send them on spring break full of sugar and candy. And we're looking forward to preschool graduation on May 20th, 2021. As far as Leader in Me goes, we are really the very beginning of all of that introduction. So we have all of the 7 habits all over the building, and our teachers are consistently utilizing the language and the verbiage with our students so that they hear it on a pretty regular basis and every day. They also weekly, each classroom works through a habit every week. And then once we go through, we just repeat and keep working throughout the year for our Leader in Me, with our little ones.
Thank you. Mr. Page?
Okay, welcome back. So, the first thing you're going to find is an Easter egg on your, like a Reese egg there. What we did for our Mustang Minute was we thought we needed to say thank you to the parents. It's been a rough year. So the staff and I put the letter together. We did a Mustang Minute, and every parent, hopefully every parent got their egg before their kid ate it going home. But I wanted to give you a sample of that. Also, math testing will be the week of the 26th. And our ELA test has been completed. I have to tell you, we are taking the paper and pencil test, and it is from the year before and the year we noticed like a 5% increase, and I think it's because they're not just hitting a key on a computer, they have to go back and find the answers, and with us not having computer classes, it's been a success. So hopefully we'll see that as we carry on with our paper pencil test. Two of my teachers applied for AEP grants and got them, Mrs. Potts and Mrs. Cook. They're going to be buying some STEM resources for our kids. Leader in Me, if you haven't noticed, we do them every morning. The kids help me with the morning announcements. We are in the final stage we've completed the 7 habits, so now it's a little tougher for these kids to come in because now they don't just talk or read the habit, they have to tell me how it affects them and how they can use it throughout life. And so we've started that process. We do have a culture committee and we have an academic committee that we're putting together, but actually getting the kids involved, we haven't got to do that yet. That's the next step for that part. We are going to start district-wide the Recognizing John Page Awards. We met as an administrative team. Mr. Page did a lot for the community, so we'd like to bring that back to each building. So Mr. Peters is in the process of creating a medal for leadership, and each building will give out one in memory of John. So, also we got news from Mr. Wrench today. I had a grant from Jurassic Park for transportation and a sponsor last year to take the kids down there. He has approved it. My sponsors agreed to reinforce it. We've got the transportation and the kids are thrilled to death. It'll be the last 2 days of school. They'll be fishing, they'll be going whitetail deer hunting, they'll be going into the ponds, collecting tadpoles. It's just all outside. And I thank you guys because I called him first thing this morning. I need an answer. So we got that. The kids are thrilled to death. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Seibert sent us an email. He couldn't be here tonight. Shannon, did you have anything to bring up for him?
No, I think he sent it.
Okay. All right. Then, Mrs. Lynn?
Okay. I think been pretty busy with the stadium, but I think that Justin covered that a good bit of what's going on there. I sent a report just of different things going on. Technology group's been very busy. This is our staging area for computers coming in. They've actually been coming in. Last year we had such a problem getting computers, and so we were told again this year we'd have that problem. So it's that whole looking at crystal ball and how soon should we order them to get them and all of that. So we did order them a little earlier, and they came earlier than I thought. So we've had 120 done, and they're moved to the next stage. Those are teacher computers that are preschool through 3rd grade that are staged there. And then I think Wednesday we have another 475 Chromebooks that are coming. It's the empty space there. We'll put those in. So that will be, we just kind of work through them, and we'll be working on the teacher machines next. Hopefully get some of those in before the teachers leave. It's easier that way than trying to give them a new computer at the beginning of school, just because there's so many other new things going on. So our goal is to get those in to the classrooms before they leave. The custodial group, I don't know, Michelle, if you saw the gym foyer, completely different facelift on that. Looks very, the middle school, that foyer just really pops with the colors, very much school spirit. There was some painting done at the intermediate. I think that they did a very nice job on the steps, the bleachers, and at our high school, you don't really realize if you saw any of the metal doors, they were they're almost like a pink color. When you start painting them brown, it's just how much they faded over the years. But we really were painting those outside metal doors to match the roof that's going on, and it looks very nice. And I think if you go by, I mean, it really looks like a new building. It looks good. So at the high school, just with the roof, I mean, they're ahead of schedule. It looks like it's done, but there's a lot of trim work left to do. So, I mean, they're still going to be there for quite some time. The estimated completion is the end of May. They're going around and we tilled up all the areas that were rutted, and so like half the yard's all tilled up. And they have planted grass. We did not put straw down because we just, with the wind tunnel that goes through there, we were afraid it would just be blowing everywhere. So, was hoping some of that would take root a little bit before prom and, you know, all of that, where we can get some actual green grass. So, I don't know, the walk-ins, it might have a different look. Maybe we need to put a tractor or something in the pictures and kind of, anyway, but it looks, the roof looks, I think, good. Met with the city of Uricksville, Bell Everett, about storm drainage, and continue to work with the city on the storm drainage down in that area, something that needs to be fixed. So I'm hoping we can get that, keep moving forward on that. And then also, speaking of city of Uricksville, they did donate money to us, grant money that they had, and donated back, and that is what we used, some of the additional water bottle fillers that we added to the 3 different buildings over spring break. Those were paid for by the city of Uricksville's donation. So, and I really think I really don't think we'll ever have traditional water fountains anymore. You know, I think the bottles and doing that will probably be how we go forward. Let me see, and then we are starting the boiler project that was approved last month. That actually starts May 3rd with the tech people doing all of the wiring and the preliminary setup for that. And the boilers, and where we'll actually start will be the end of May. We'll be starting at the middle school, and we will be doing, it'll be about 2 weeks without air conditioning. So we want to do that earlier in the summer versus later, where they're draining all the lines and replacing things, and we'll bring that back up. And then that project is slated to be about 6 to 8 weeks, and then Eastport is 2 to 3. So we're going to go with the middle school first. So, any other questions you have for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for participating tonight with the reports. It's very nice to see you back in this room. It's been a long time, and I know I want to just say kudos to all of our staff, OC and our staff, and kudos to our administration for handling this virus the way you have and educating our students. On behalf of myself, and I know I guess I can speak for the board, we really appreciate it. And you guys all of our staff, and that went way beyond your call to take care of our students. And that's what it's about. It's about our students. It's not about us, but it's about the students. So again, I just want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to see everybody here and back in the 5 days. So thank you. We're going to go into the accommodations, but I think we need to talk a little bit about the turf. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, we currently, our stadium committee met 2 weeks ago, I guess now, at least, and interviewed 4 different companies. We had a donor who made a pledge of $500,000, which kind of started our ball rolling. And we were looking at different possibilities as far as our companies. Our stadium committee, through the interviews, has selected one particular company. For us to move forward with this, that we have accommodations that are listed here that people have given. We're still short of our overall goal. I know our stadium committee has some things in the works with a couple different, donors coming, and we're hoping that those will come through for us to put us over the top. But Kim and I have met with the company that the committee selected and talked about, installment plans. We talked about loans. We want to do this project without dipping into any district money. But as you know, the stadium itself with the field house and the bleachers, those were all paid through a permanent improvement. That is not through district money per se, that it's not operational money. It was set aside specifically for this. So where we are, and I don't know exactly our total number at this moment. Here.
Here's the total, and maybe that one that lost some of the responses. This is what's going for the traffic and turf.
Right now, we have $1,006,291 that have been earmarked. We basically are looking at a need of $700,000 more to put us over to pay for all the projects that we need. So it's kind of, we're at this point of saying, all the companies say if we want to start next year with it, they need to start June 1st. They need to be putting a shovel to the ground by June 1st to be able to have everything in place for next year. I personally do not want to, I don't want to slight any particular type of group. How do I slight football by doing the tennis courts? How do I slight the track by doing the football field? So looking at the total package, that's how I'm looking at it as far as being able to do it for all of the athletes, not just one particular set. So this is a discussion amongst the board as far as where we are, where with this is. I know the stadium committee group, they know where we are with some of the financial backings that have not yet been pledged. So those are some of the ideas that we have there. So this is open for board discussion and kind of where we go with that. So.
Okay. I usually try to get down to that stadium about every day or every other day. And like the superintendent said, what do? We want to finish this project, okay? Where they tore out the old bleachers and that, and Beth, correct me if I say something out of line, okay? The foundation of those old bleachers went down underneath the track. So when they tore that out, we have probably a good 4 foot, maybe a 5 foot span that's probably about a foot deep, okay? And we have some stone in there, but we can't have our track team running on that thing the way it is. So, like the superintendent said, we want to finish this project. We're going to have a tremendous stadium down there. The press box looks very professional. And unless we can come up with the rest of the money to do the track and the field and the tennis courts to make it come out right, I would like to entertain a suggestion or maybe in a form of a motion for Kim to go ahead with the Molds company and just venture in to see what a loan would cost us, okay, to finish off this project.
I have talked to their banking.
Okay.
I didn't bring that paperwork in with me because I didn't really approve it. I looked at 2 scenarios just to see what they said. If we went with, say, $500,000, if we borrow that over 3 years and up to 7 years, 5 years, 7 years. I also looked at what if we borrowed the whole amount because their first payment is due 30 days after the completion of the project. So whatever you borrow, you have to have that first payment. So if it's 3 years, that first payment's due 30 days. So the money that we do have collected would probably go for your first and second payments, or if we do just the $500,000.
even just on a 3-year loan, you're looking at $20,000 in interest
Mhm.
that we'd have to pay. And that's on the lowest amount for 3 years.
That's, we borrowed 500, you said?
Mhm.
500, is that okay?
Okay.
The higher amounts was, don't quote me on the price, that how much of the interest, but it was like at 3.9%, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I guess this is
I
something
think it was
the board will have to
3.9%.
discuss with you and see what way you want to go with that then. Okay?
We this last Friday received a call from a former alumni, and they donated $25,000, and they're not on the list here today. But they donated $25,000, and we're trying to get, he said, looking, what like people to match that $25,000. I do believe within, I talked to our athletic director, and within a couple of minutes, he had $10,000 pledged as part of that. And he told me this, and another person just dropped off another $10,000 check. So we're $5,000 short of that match at this point in time. So, where we are here, we basically need about $700,000 more to put us over the top to kind of finish the project. Like, we want to finish the project. But, we're hoping that, it's my hope that people will come out and say, let's see this through, make that commitment and see what it would be for us to finish it without, we have had a lot of people step up. I mean, we had a $500,000 donation, a pledge, a couple weeks ago. So there are people who are wanting that to happen. Maybe that large monetary donation can't be coming from them, but maybe it could be coming in smaller increments than that. But there's an old saying that goes with the church, in that many hands make light work. So we've had many hands into this and making this finish us through. So I know Brad Hillier is going to have a thermometer down at the York Street and 11th to say this is where we need to be to finish our project. So that's going to be going up just as we inch closer and closer to our final goal. So I just wanted to highlight, even though that extra $25,000 and those extra 2 other commitments, so there's $45,000 that's not recognized on our list today.
The pending pledges, do you have any idea of an estimate? Do you have any inkling of what they may pledge?
I don't want to jinx ourselves, but we're working with another local company for making a pledge. Mr. Baldwin has been working with our athletic director, Justin Jones. Mr. Baldwin spent most of this week, last week, working on videos to do presentations for this other company to send to the corporate. We're hoping for something from that. Mr. Beckley and I have met twice with that company, along with Justin and Eric Henry, the football coach. So we've met with them. So we're hoping that would be something down the road as far as sizable donation, but we don't have an idea.
And my understanding is that the ones that we had talked to, they'll be meeting probably Wednesday or Thursday, and hopefully we will have a good answer. Whenever we did meet with the company, it sounded promising, okay? And they really liked the idea of the partnership. So hopefully the video and things that we have put together for that will come out. But we still need around $500,000 to $700,000 to do everything and finish everything that we want. I know that Bob Archer and his wife, they were in the paper today. If you saw the paper, they donated $100,000 to us. And they also donated $100,000 to the Claymont Foundation. So he's very interested in it. Will he donate more? We have no idea. So, but he did donate $100,000. So that's where we're at right now. The committee for the Browns and that, we've been working hard. Steve is on that committee. I'm on that committee. And it's shaping up and we want to see it finished.
Well, right, as Austin is saying, I can assure you there's a lot of time being put into this, a lot of heart. We're devoted to this. I've been using the phrase, we're not going to have this be another 922 project. Sometimes we just do things like the back end of a horse. So take that for what it's worth. We're going to see this through. The kids deserve it. The community needs it. That's the center of it. To me, it's the heart of what I've seen for many years. So I believe by that leap of faith, it will be taken care of. It's a part of due diligence.
I know there's been quite a few people from the community down around that stadium and watching things happen, especially when they set that press box. That was awesome, I thought. You know, when you picked that up, I thought, oh my gosh, okay, all right, you know. But there's a lot of people there, they have questions, and they thought, man, this is really going to look nice. So anyway, with that, if you don't have any the principals, I think you can.
Austin, I'd like to add something. I just want everybody to know that, yes, the 100,000s are nice and the big 25,000s are nice, but the 10s, the 15s, the 20s, the 100s add up. So I think a lot of people are intimidated or thinking their 20 and 30 isn't going to help. Not on the list here, but I want to give a shout out to Todd Marsh. He just ran some football boards, and between two boards he did for football and basketball, he raised $7,000, and that was just collecting $10 and $20 off of local people. And so you don't need to bring in $100. We'll take the 10s and the 20s, and they do add up. So I know there's a lot of people that can't spare a lot of money, but a 10 or 20 helps.
Sure.
And
Good point. Good
willing
point.
to take that money.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a very good point. Okay. Anything else before we move on? Okay, we'll go to the accommodations.
Accommodations that we did have, the city of Ursville donated their recycling money back to the Kimball Company, and of $330.63. Lance and Tricia Addison, $100. Alvin Title, $2,500. Sean Alexis Lindsay, $500. First Federal has made their pledge and fulfilled that today. So that was a pledge that they filled of $10,000. Lauren Welsh, $250, and then Robin Beth Lint, $1,000 going toward locker sponsorship. So I want to thank all of them.
And another one that came in late that didn't make the list was Oshus LLC. Troy Oshus donated $10,000, so I wanted to add him to Troy Oshus.
Troy Oshus.
His company is $10,000.
I think that was one of the matches
Yes.
to the
To the 25?
Yes.
to the 25.
Yeah.
And then we haven't brought ours in, but collected another 10,000 to do the match to the Vermont Private. And obviously, he donated 25, and then he's going to, if we raise another 25, he will contribute another 25. So we're up to 20,000.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, I will move on. We're going to have an executive session, but we're going to move it to the end of the meeting so we can move on with our agenda. And so we'll go down to 7. I'm going to entertain a motion. I'll make the motion. I need a second. And that's to approve a 5-year administrative contract for Brian Wrench as superintendent of Claymont City Schools effective August 1, 2022 through July 31st, 2027. And this was done because the board did their interviews with him and discussed several things, and we want to award him with a 5-year contract. So I'm going to make that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beckley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sproul?
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison?
Yes.
Mr. Miles?
Yes.
And Mr. Trimmer?
Yes. Motion carried.
Well, and I just want to thank you for your vote of confidence. That means a lot. And usually I'm not too mixed for words, but I am at this point, so.
I just want to
Okay.
speak for myself, I want to thank you for coming in and moving things along so much. You came in and had to clean up a lot, and between you and Kim, thank you both for your leadership so much, and just getting the things rolling that we've been trying to accomplish, and for this district and for the students, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Both of you.
And I'll echo the same thing, I think the whole board does, so when they did their, and we evaluate the superintendent and the treasurer every year, so things came out really well. And again, thank you for being our superintendent, and you, Kim, thank you for being our treasurer. Okay, addendum item?
I have 2 items as addendum in your board packet that went home prior to the weekend. The site for the FFA overnight trip has changed, and the date changed. It was April 30th and from the 29th, and they were going to go to the Holmes County Fairgrounds, where they'll be held now. They were going to go to Salt Fork State Lodge for the virtual conference, but it had changed before them. And also, this morning came in, so I need to make a change because of the prom coming up. Listed are some prom chaperones. So just need a motion and a second to move those to the superintendent's items, please.
We have a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Mrs. Sproul?
Yes.
Mr. Miles?
Yes.
Mr. Beckley?
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison?
Yes.
Mr. Trimmer?
Yes. Motion carried. Any items to be pulled? Okay, if not, we'll go into the treasurer report.
Just highlight a couple things like Commissioner said, we have collected or have pledged $1,600,291,000 towards the stadium project. Collected also almost $3,000 to help with the locker sponsorships that Commissioner Henry's going with the football thing for the locker room.
Can I interrupt just real quick? Do we have an example of what those are going to look like?
The lockers.
The lockers, like the plate, like.
We were just discussing
Okay.
that today.
Okay. To be continued. Thank you.
Yeah, we were talking about the different plates and things. We haven't decided how that's going to look.
Where we want it.
Where it's going to go on the locker, that was the other thing too. So it's not hidden and hanging stuff up in the locker.
So that is going to be discussed
Okay.
shortly.
That'll be a season committee discussion.
We received property tax settlements this month, which would be the first half of last year. So what went to the general fund was $1,539,757. So that helped out my forecasting stuff for this month, and didn't have to touch much of my foundation money. So that got to stay in our Star Ohio account for this month. Excess cost was finalized, and excess cost comes into play when we have students that cost us more to educate from other districts that come to our school, and then we get excess costs charged from other districts that our students have gone to there. So in the end, we are having to shell out about $120,575 in excess of what we're going to get in for excess costs. I glanced at open enrollment again just to see where the annualized amount is. This year, it's still on a projection that we will pay out open enrollment for a negative amount of $1,018,935. But for the March of month of March, we're finishing with total funds balances of $12,461,965. When you look at the general fund solely, we're at 75% of forecasted amounts right now. Forecast looks in pretty good shape on that percentage-wise of what we spend. Capital outlays were a little bit low, so of course Beth's been asking me, how much money do I have till the end of the year? So I've given her, I had projected like $250,000 for capital outlays within our forecast. So she's going to be doing a few projects and spending some of that money before the fiscal year end. But right now, we're revenues over expenditure of a little bit over $2 million. So, but like I said, that was to help with real estate taxes coming in. So unless you guys have any questions, I will go into seeking a motion to accept the financial report as presented for March, the payment of bills as presented, and the minutes from the regular board meeting of March 15th. And then we have had our first change order from Beaver Constructors on the stadium project, and that was like $16,000 that was included in your thing. So I need a first and a second motion for those items.
Okay, I entertain that, we have a motion for that. Okay, I'll second that. Roll call.
Mrs. Sproul?
Yes.
Mr. Beckley?
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
And Mr. Turner?
Yes.
And then I have a couple items that are coming up for renewals. We work with Sedgwick Company for workers' compensation and unemployment claims management. We got our rate, group retrospective rating for, this would be calendar year 22. But they need the renewal soon, and they start looking at those, I believe it's August 1 or September 1. So that amount will be $3,185, which is very comparable to last year's. Our property insurance, liability insurance is recommended staying with Ohio School Plan through Highland Administrative Services. That's for May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2022. That amount is $71,001. That had a very minimal increase from last year. I think it was $200 to $300, that's it. We have a 3-year renewal with Julian & Grube. They're the accounting firm that puts together my GAAP reporting and my financial statements at the end of the fiscal years. And if we go with a 3-year commitment, it's $7,100 per year for that compilation. And we needed to do a resolution approving the procurement of design build services for Gardner for the boilers. We need to, so that we can get the pricing with the Ohio Schools Council.
Okay. I entertain a motion to accept the rest of the financial report, E through H. Okay. Mr. Kermit, do we have a second? Mr. Kermit, any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison?
Yes.
Mr. Beckley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sproul?
Yes.
And Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time we'll go into the superintendent's recommendation.
We have a motion or a resolution for supporting the General Assembly to repeal the section of regarding the district transfers and declare emergency, to create a new process where electors residing in the claimant district and the territory are eligible in the township indicate consummate to transfer to their territory. Skimming basically through this is that making sure our boundaries are set forth that are proposed that we have within our school. The legislatures are looking, wanting to change some of those boundaries and represented those, and also as far as relating to our school funding. So we sent them and say that we were going to stick with this for our support and go against this, that we would support it, and we sent it to Jay Hottinger and Brett Hillier so that they would know that we support this as and they would go forward from it. So so the resultant student enrollment and district finances and boundaries are perpetual moving budget and target. So basically setting those boundaries that doesn't have financial hardship on our district.
Okay, we need a motion. I'll make that motion. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Beckley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sproul?
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison?
Yes.
Mr. Miles?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yep.
Motion carried.
The remaining items would be approve the student teacher that's with Julie Shaw. Her name is Haley Slates. Contract with Union Hospital for occupational services for bus physicals, and those will be conducted here at the end of May. Frontline is our substitute management system, and that cost to do that is $6,064.30 for next year. Purchasing our curriculum, and we have curriculum through ESSER funds, and they are listed here that we have a 7-year commitment with grades 3 through 8, interactive science, Miller biology, 7-year commitment, dimensions physical science, world chemistry, and then out of ESS 2 and 3 funds, 6 years as Gizmo site license for math and science teachers. And that'll be at an extra cost of $43,095. Kim and I did a radio spot with, or were interviewed by WJR, and we talked about how ESSER funds, and with those funds, without those funds, obviously, we're not being able to purchase and update curriculum as we could at this point in time. So, you know, utilizing that money helps us to say, and the teachers at district leadership teams have been saying, when are we getting new textbooks? When are we getting new things to use? And this definitely helps that. 3-year administrative contract for Mr. Henry as Transportation Food Service Coordinator, and that'll start August 1st, and that'll run through to July 31st, 24. The resignations fall are Mr. Henry as Assistant Principal, effective July 31st. Mr. Seibert, reluctantly, you know, he is selected and been taking another position, so I reluctantly accept his resignation, but he will be done effectively July 31st. And also Darlene Walker, she's going to be retiring. I know that's going to, you know, hurt Tracy. No, it's not, because Tracy's retiring too. But Darlene retiring, so I want to wish them well for Mr. Seibert and Mrs. Walker. East Central Ohio, extended school year services. This will be through special education. SLP, speech and language, looking at 36 hours. Physical therapy, 12 hours. And then also occupational therapy, approximately 24 hours. And then there's their rates. Recall Ashley Bircher from the OT reduction force list as middle school in-school suspension aid, and that will be retroactive back to March 30th. The FFA trip that we talked about on the addendum, as well as the chaperones, and then we also have some substitutes for class certified and classified.
I entertain a motion to accept the superintendent's report. Mr. Trent, do we have a second? Mr. Mann, roll call, please.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Miles?
Yes.
Mr. Beckley?
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison?
Yes.
And Mrs. Sproul?
Yes.
Motion carried. At this time, we will go into the executive session. And we will go in for number 2, employment. Letter D, preparing for conducting and reviewing negotiations. And letter E, matters required to be kept confidential. And I don't believe that there will be any action to be taken on this. No, there'll be no action to be taken, but we do definitely need to have a meeting. So I'll make that motion that we go in. executive session.
Yeah, I have to make copies of them.
You may come.
Do we have a second?
Thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Bentley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sproul? Mr. Miles? Mr. Trimmer?
Yeah.
That's all right, just, you can just email them to them, I can stop.
Okay.
And Mrs. Reed, one in
Yeah,
the
I'm
executive
sorry.
session? Yes, okay.
Yes.
6:40. Okay, we pursue that with the financial thing for the stadium, so we'll have an idea that you've been working on.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, if there's nothing else, motion to adjourn. Oh, we want to stay here. Okay. We have a second. Okay, we got a second. Roll call.
Mr. Miles?
Yes.
Who was the second on this?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Beckley?
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison?
Yes.
And Mrs. Grover?
Yes.
Next meeting will be May 10, 5:30 here. That's all. Good night.
Thank you.